bad now. I kicked her out.
Oh, Jane, we're off to
All right, we are live. We're live. I'm really excited to spend some time with you, Audra. I love hanging out with you because you've always got such amazing insights and wisdom. And, you know, this is kind of like a preview to the Retail ConX that's coming up September the 16th that we've partnered with Microsoft, Retail U, and Livewire to bring to life, right? So I'll leave the link underneath this conversation. But I think today is just a really good time to have some discussion about, you know, what we're going to be talking about, and just having a discussion about what's going on with the state of retail and how hospitality and retail can come together, which I think is fantastic. So this is just going to be a preview because obviously if you come, you know, when you come to the Retail ConX, you're going to meet me, you're going to meet Audra, you're going to hear us speak more about these subjects and these topics, and we will be doing more of these leading up to the event. We have Bob Phibbs next week on live, which is cool. But I thought today would just be really good for us to hop on and just have a conversation about really you know, our knowledge or insights, so people can get to know a bit more about us and just learn something today that maybe they can take away. So I think, we just have a conversation. I've got some questions that I want to ask you.
Well, I've got questions I want to ask you as well. So fire away. Let's do one each and see how we get on.
Well, first of all, I think it's important for people to know who we are. So if you want to introduce yourself, we're on my feed, obviously. So if you want to introduce yourself, and people know who you are, but this is LinkedIn, Facebook, you know, YouTube right now. So who are you? What do you do?
So Audra Lamoon, I'm the Chief Happiness Officer of Livewire. So that's a hospitality training company, basically. So live, online, Zoom, webinar, you name it, and now collaborating with you for this fabulous summit in New York. And it's all about elevating customer service. And we also help big developers, so big projects, especially if they've got third-party partners. So they're people that work for other companies, valet companies, housekeeping, car park, landscaping, you name it. But we bring them all together on big projects so that everybody's singing from the same hymn sheet in terms of vision, customer service standards and values, that kind of thing. So we work in the Middle East, North America, Canada, Europe, but based in England. But we also have offices in the US. So that's been fabulous. And also the Middle East. And we're looking to go back there together, aren't we? At some point in the Middle East next.
Yeah.
So really love what I do.
Yeah, and I was fortunate to deliver one of your trainings in Atlanta, so I got to see firsthand what you do with your clients, and it was just so awesome just teaching hospitality and vision and mission because it's that passion. And what I find really interesting is how you bring in the third party, partners into the training and get everybody going in the same direction, because that I've never experienced before. In my world, we go into a retailer and we train the teams in a retail store, or if it's a small business owner, we go and work with the business owner and their team. But I've never experienced what you do. And I think that's super powerful, right?
Thank you. Yeah, I'm having the president or CEO sitting in the room answering the same questions, being tasked the same things as a safety and security officer, as a property manager, as a housekeeper. You know, so that I hadn't seen before, but it was the only way I could get everybody on the same level and understanding, because, you know, all these other companies have their own vision statements and customer service standards, but they don't know them. They don't know what they are. So we'll bring them all together. And I think it humbles the C-suite, and it makes them realize, oh my God, what these people have to do day in, day out, right? Some of these people across the property to go and get a sandwich for lunch, they don't talk to customers, but everybody else, they're dealing with customers day in, day out. You know what, these retailers are used to being in performance mode the minute they open to the minute they shut, right? So it's how do they do that? But what can they learn from the big boys too, right? Which is what we're going to bring to the stage.
Yeah. And Chief Happiness Officer. I just love that title, right? Versus CEO, founder, owner. What made you come up with Chief Happiness Officer? Because I've never met a Chief Happiness Officer.
Well, you know what? There are lots now. I think I've set a trend, I'll be honest. But we did it when I had a larger team. Basically, we decided that I didn't want to give anybody roles about what they did. I wanted them roles about who they are. So if they changed roles, it didn't matter. We didn't have to change their name. So, you know, when you're chief, I've been Chief Happiness Officer because that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to have fun learning through fun, have fun with my colleagues, you know, and my clients. And so having fun was the main thing. So, it was just kind of a nickname. Oh, here comes the Chief Happiness Officer. And that is my role. That's what I do. So whatever. So if things change in the company, that's still what my main aim is to do, right? So we have all sorts of silly names. But yeah, I've seen a few of them now. And a few Chief Happiness Officers have reached out going, oh, love your title. I've just adopted that role or whatever. But yeah, it's fun. I really love it.
If I was going to rename myself, I think it would be Chief Inspiration Officer.
Yes, you would. Yes. I always look forward to your, I told you this, your voicemails. Oh my God, what's she going to come up with? She's going to come up with some amazing idea and it's going to work. And that's why I love working with you, because nothing is unreachable. It's like, I know this person, and I think if we did this, this, and this, and then we have a Retail Summit in New York. I mean, it literally was a conversation. Months ago, and here we are. So you're amazing. I love what you do.
I think I just get to work with amazing people all day like you, so that just makes it even better. And on that note, I think I want to ask you some questions around hospitality. Yeah, because I think that we can learn a lot in the retail side from hospitality. One of my first jobs was in a restaurant and table service, and then I went from that into Starbucks, and Starbucks was retail and hospitality, and I did that for 6 years. And I think that really set me up for going into retail and creating exceptional customer experiences, because I took the hospitality experience, right, from creating that third place where people would come in, know us, have their coffee, look forward to that conversation every day, and then we would, sell them their favorite pastry. Yeah, obviously we had to sell things, so there was this blend of both. But when I took that into fashion retail, it gave a different perspective, and I love that hospitality feel. So, one of my questions I have is, what unique elements of a store do you think, in your perspective, can be transformed to create a more inviting and hospitable, I've got a list, environment for customers? Right?
Yeah, not the hostile, but the hospitable. I get that wrong a lot as well. Yeah. And that's a great question. And because people don't think out of their own sphere. So if they're fashion labels, why would they think about anything else? But if you notice who's coming into your stores, it could be couples are coming in, families are coming in. What can you do to create that linger space? So putting in cozy seating, warm lighting, even having drinks available, right? Cook free tea and coffee, or have a local artisan, supply coffee and tea so they can taste, their wares, and you can promote them for them. That cross-pollination of services. So look up and down your high street and think, who can I collaborate with? I'd love to have Susie's cupcakes in my store, or let them try things out. And also with your products, whether it's retail or gadgets or whatever it is, have a station where they can try out product as well. So anything that creates interaction, linger time, and fascination, that generally leads to revenue, right?
Interaction, linger time, and fascination. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
I never heard that in retail ever. That's a really
I made it up, darling, but that's what I like to do, you see. So when we're mystery shopping, I look at those three factors, right? I think, would I want to stay here? If I did, where am I going to sit? Is there anything I can play with, right? Because my attention span's little. And am I going to come back? And am I going to promote this to my friends? Because we're like, oh, I found the best handbag or the best coffee or the best cake. So if the answer is no to any of that, I'm out.
Right.
So,
and that's something that's so easily accessible for business owners to kind of think about those three things and talk to their team and create that. It doesn't take a lot. It's not a huge investment of technology. It's not a huge investment of a renovation. It's literally not. I mean, I was in a Gap store the other day here in South Beach, and they had created this little kind of seating area with, at the front of the store. And it was really interesting because I've never seen that in a Gap store. It was really comfy, cozy. And there was guys sitting there waiting for their girlfriend, wife, daughter, whoever, shopping on the women's floor. And I was like, that's really, really smart, right? Because people down here on vacation a lot of the time. And, I just want to sit down for a minute and let you go and shop. So that's an easy thing to do. Also, when I worked
at a drink as well, right? At Christmas, get that hot toddy out and give them all the feet, whatever's going on, holiday wise.
That was really smart what you said about drinks, because when I ran David's Tea, we wanted, we called them tea guides, but we wanted our tea guides and our managers and leaders to go out into the other stores around them and actually place little tea stations, because if you drink a tea and it's really good, you're going to be like, oh, I want more of that, because it's an experience. So that's a way as well to kind of add that value for somebody, and also cross-pollinate. I think that's really important. I was with a floral shop in New York recently doing some work, and I said to them, they do these amazing floral arrangements, like beautiful. And I'm like, you should be in every lobby of every building, and you should all, because they're trying to figure out how to drive more business. Yes. And you should also be partnering with film productions, because everybody needs arrangements. And they were like, oh, I hadn't thought about that. Right. So there's so many ways you can do that, but I love that. So it's linked. So it's, what was it? It was number one.
Linger time, right? What can I do to create linger time, interaction and fascination?
Right.
Those three elements are really key. And you talking about the floral shop, getting to the world of multifamily, that, that rental, that residential world, they all have lobbies, they all have club rooms, they all have model and guest rooms, which they stage, right? So there's another arena area too. And it's funny you mentioned a little minute ago, because we're talking about personalization, human interaction, all that, but you also mentioned a bit about technology. And I wanted to ask you where you think technology plays a part in retail, because we don't want to replace humans. So how does technology show up in retail, would you say?
Yeah. I think technology shows up in retail in multiple areas. So whether it be for your customers or for your employees, right? So I think for your customers, if you can make the experience seamless, as in, let's say I walk into a store and there's nobody around and I want to search for a size, or I want to find out if this is available. I think technology could play a role in that, where you could go online, you could search something, and then, maybe it notifies somebody in the back of the store, or somebody that could be busy, and then bringing it forwards so that I could buy it and try it on. I think that's really important. I also think self-checkout is a really amazing tool when it's done right. It's interesting. When I was in Zara in Portugal and Spain, it was done so well. It was like a luxury experience of checkout. But every time I'm in a Zara in the US, that experience of checkout is really clunky, and they just can't replicate it for some reason. I don't know why. It's like it's broken. It's down in the back of the fitting rooms. It's just not in the right space. Whereas one in Spain was like, it felt like you were going through this luxury checkout line, and it was all lovely, and it was in the middle of the store, and it wasn't hidden, and it was really cool. So I think speed and ease, if you can use technology to create speed and ease, because we are Amazon one check purchases now. We press that button and it ships right away. So I think that's huge. Making sure that you're not adding technology that complicates that is really important for our customers. Like being able to buy something and then go pick it up in the store. Lululemon's a good example of that. They've been able to interact that full customer journey. So I think for the small guys, though, I think that using it, like getting your Instagram hooked up with, a shop so that people can buy from your Instagram, right? Things like that. So you make sure that you can use technology to create those checkouts in multiple places, can kind of help you get product in front of people more. Because once they've gone past the buy button and it makes it complicated, you're not necessarily going to go back to it. That's the problem.
Right.
So that's important. And then I think for the employee side, I think training. I think technology can be used for training. I think if you were going to say what's the one thing that makes a retailer successful, is having a well-trained team. I mean, we believe in it because we have training companies. We've been doing this for a long time, and we can see when people are not trained well, when they don't have confidence, they don't have the knowledge, they don't have the skills. And making that technology simple. We're in the day and age of we're watching 30-second clips on YouTube, right? Yeah. So that means that training has to be replicable of how our employees consume content. And so using technology that can help you do that and make it bite-sized, that's replicable, I think that's really, really important. So, AI can help us with that too as well, right? I love AI, don't get me wrong. I know I said Retail ConX is like ditch AI for a day, but that's because this is a conference focused on people and the people skills, which AI can't replace that. It can't replace those people touch points. I don't believe.
Thank God. Thank God. Who would want that, right? Sometimes the only interaction people have are with those customer sales agents, right? So they go into a store and they get that warmth and engagement with someone, and you don't know, they might not be talking to anybody for the rest of the day, which is heartbreaking. So you never know quite who you're dealing with or what they're dealing with. And sometimes, as humans, we pick up on that, and you can make that interaction that bit more special, that bit more warm, right? It's nothing to do with sales, right?
Yeah.
It's about being kind. And I think you just don't get that anywhere everything's automated. Of course you don't. But having the choice, that symbiotic retail that Ian Scott talks about, which is very, very clever, knowing you have the choice between technology or the personalization, or there's a bit of both. Maybe you see something online, but maybe you want to go and try it on, right? And it brings us back to what can you do in store to create linger, but also loyalty, customer loyalty, and then employee loyalty. And we'll be talking about recruitment and employees in New York quite a bit with lovely Liz Capance, etc. So that's going to be great as well, because you have to take care of your employees first.
You really do. And the top two reasons why most retailer independent stores fail is because they can't hire people and keep people. That's it. I mean, I talked to a franchise, business the other day. They have 240 stores, and it's an amazing business. The resale business is growing exponentially. So I would think about that. If you're thinking about opening a retail store, what do you want to do? I think resale is, to me, if I was going to do it, it'd be resale. But I said to them, like, what's the top reason why your franchisees fail? And they said they can't hire people and they can't keep people. And if you don't have people, you can't open your store. Or if you're the owner, you're working 80 hours and you're just burnt out, right? So that was a piece. And then the second piece was just getting the product piece right. Like, obviously, that's really important. So
absolutely. It's really hard for independents. We're seeing this really on the high street, but also we're seeing it in strip malls and in shopping centres and open air shopping malls. We were dealing with safety and security company that was staffing the mall, and they were losing their great officers to other industries because they were getting more per hour, the hourly rate. But they were getting more for washing up than they were for a safety and security role. So that is really difficult. So how, as retailers, you compete with that. So you're right, getting your strategy right for recruitment, onboarding, and training. And training is one things that keeps employee loyalty, because when you're investing in their development, they become invested in your product and your brand. So to get the training right and get it in the right time as well. Are you preparing them for when they come on board with you? Do you know what your vision is? And we're going to look at that in New York. Do you, as an independent retailer, have a vision, a purpose, a goal, a motto? Do you have values? Do you hire against those? And then what are your customer service standards? And April, you and I, when we were last in New York together, how many people welcomed us into the stores? How many people acknowledged us? How many people just gave us the menu and came back 4 years later and said, what do you want? All that kind of thing, right? And it's like, wow, we know who's been trained. And you don't have to be an informed customer to know whether you've got a person in front of you who's been trained or not. We know.
Yeah, and that's why I'm super passionate about the managers. Your sweet spot is train customer service, and I have led customer service teams and sales teams. But for me, it's about making sure that manager knows how to train somebody. Because when you have a manager, you're a business owner. If you don't know how to train and coach somebody, you're constantly going to be cycling through people, right? We teach them the training formula to managers and teach them how to coach, because if you don't know how to do that, you're not going to be able to impart the knowledge. And I think that's what we do. We train people and give them the information. But I think the manager, whoever runs that team, has such a significant impact on what that service looks like.
It's huge. It's huge. And letting those people sort of sometimes run wild with ideas, right, to change things up. I think it's always a good idea to try something different. With every year comes 4 seasons. Every season comes lots of holidays and things. And how can you chop and change things up a bit to keep not only the customers interested, but the employees too? Because when they get to seeing the same thing day in, day out, they become customer blind, and they don't see what's wrong. They don't have anything. They don't see what the customer sees. They take off those goggles and it becomes the same old. So there's so many opportunities throughout the year to put a different lens on something and then mystery shop yourself, mystery shop your competitors, and get those team, get your employees in different places and go and see what they're doing over the road. What can we adopt? What can we change up? What should we be doing? What should we stop doing? There's so many opportunities to take a look at your business model and change it up and make it better and improve. You'll never stop that process, and you shouldn't, right?
Yeah. So what's ways with your, your hospitality mindset and training, what are some ways that high street retailers can foster community engagement and build relationships with local customers to establish loyal, hospitality-focused clientele?
Jeepers creepers, give me a shorter one than that next time. I think, okay, we've kind of touched on this earlier, but getting to know who else is in your high street. What is compatible but not conflicting service? So, like I say, you could be a cupcake store. Why don't you go and partner up with a cafe up the road? Why don't you create pop-ups somewhere, find spaces in parks and venues, and find out where there are spaces that they're begging for people to come in, have makers markets, farmers markets. Where else can you expose your brand and your product? And when you collaborate, and we both know this, when you collaborate, you're twice, 3 times as strong as you are when you're on your own. And that reach you have is just so, it's like gold dust, isn't it? So look at those pop-up ideas. Where could you pop up and have bit of your product in a store and have someone else's, reciprocate that and create those events as well? Don't wait for something to happen. Why don't you create something? And I don't know how well your Chamber of Commerce's work. They work differently from state to state and country to country, but they're very good places to start. I remember when I first started my company 24 years ago, and I went to my local BNI, and I was terrified. And I was like the only company that was a training company, but thank God, actually, in the end. But it got me out of my comfort. It was like to say an idea, and they made you connect with people, didn't they? They're very but it was really good for me to do that and get out of my comfort zone, and then always to have ideas. It doesn't matter if they don't all work out, but what events can you create? What can you create together as a high street? How can you come together as a high street? What events are going on in your high street? When? And how can you be part of that? Get friendly with your councils and your chambers of commerce and each other, because that's where your next ideas are going to come from, and your next customers as well. I love it when they promote other stores. I love to hear that. Oh, you should go over there. They've got a discount on. And if you say we gave you a name, you'll get another discount, or you get a free this. It works. I seriously say
it's the power of leverage, right? Like, what it is. It's the power of leverage. That's what I love about collaborations, because you're getting beyond your own kind of network. And just talking about BNIs or like Chamber of Commerce or networking events, just getting out there. I think that's the challenge, because I think a lot of independent small retailers, like, I just don't have enough time. I've got to run the operations. Like, when am I going to find the time? But I say find the time. It's really important. That's going to just be huge. I know that when I ran the tea company, we gave the managers a budget of hours and like $50, I think it was a month or something, to go and do a community event. And they would go find the schools, and it was tea. Everybody loves drinking tea, right? So we do. We love tea.
And they're making it in a mug and a microwave. You naughty Americans, stop doing that.
So we would get out there and we would do events and like get people to taste our tea, and the managers absolutely loved it. It was super fun. It definitely gets you outside your comfort zone and outside your 4 walls to just kind of explore what's happening. It's super important. So, but I think about Well, I think about when I think about hospitality experience, right? When I was trained back in the day at Starbucks, we had mystery shoppers, and our performance appraisals, our measurement of like how we were rated or, incentivized was based on how a customer felt about being in our store and about how the team felt about being in the store. So I grew up in the era of like, my performance is based on what my customers say about me and what my team say about me, which now gets me out of the way, and it makes me work for those 2 people. And I think sometimes we forget that, our employees are our customers. They're the ones that are going to go out and tell everybody that they love working here, and they're going to recruit and enroll other customers and other employees. And it's about a feeling. I love that quote. I always use it in my training, that people will forget what you said, but they'll never forget how you made them feel. Right? Yeah. That Maya Angelou quote. I always love that, because that's what matters when it comes to hospitality. It's like how you felt when you left the store, how you felt after that conversation. How did somebody make you feel? And that requires people to listen, pay attention, find out what the needs of that customer are, be interested, be curious, and just think about that experience. And that is a hospitality experience, right? Because hospitality is all about making somebody feel relaxed, at ease. I think about hotels, hospitality. I think about vacations. It's just about the experience, right?
If any independents are listening in right now, they can take a wonderful piece of advice from the hotel industry, and it's about welcome, engage, and impress. And so, however your vision and customer service standards fit around that, do it. And I always say, come off script. I know people who advocate have a script. I absolutely do not advocate having scripts. I hate it when people shout out, "Welcome to so and so." Come up and talk to them and read the body language, read the room, so you know how to engage with somebody. But that welcome, how you do that engage, again, how you do it, read the room, read the body language, and then impress them. So give them service that will shock the hell out of them. Like, they may ask them one thing, but then give them lots of options and give them the tea. Offer the husband, sit down, take a load off. I'm going to take care of your wife, or whatever it's going to be. Welcome, engage, impress. That will serve you well.
I love it. Oh, I just love the way that hospitality and retail is coming together.
Yes.
What are you most excited about this event? Like, are you looking forward to a specific speaker, or just getting in the room and networking with people, or what you're going to talk about?
Do you know what? It's actually, I always get really excited, and I get a bit like stage struck when I see other speakers. I get really excited. So every time we've got a new speaker in, I was like, oh, I can't wait, that's going to be my favorite. Then someone else came in and was like, oh, I can't wait, that's going to be my favorite. So it's like Christmas for me. I can't wait to meet the speakers, and I can't wait for the delegates to have touchy-feely time with these people live and in person. I think that's going to be amazing to see. And I can't lie, New York is my favourite city in the whole world, and I can't wait to play after. And then we can share and wallow in the success and the happiness of everyone having a wonderful time. So glass at the end of it, after all this planning, will be fun.
And I'm really thrilled about Microsoft allowing us to use that building. It's Times Square. So if you are a New York City retailer, or if you're not and you want to come in for the day, it's on a Monday. So you could literally come for the weekend, see a show, do some shopping, do some competitive shopping. That's always good. In New York, see what's going on in retail. And then, your last day, Monday, you just hit the Retail ConX, and you leave like so inspired after a couple of days of being in the best city in the world, in my opinion, when it comes to retail,
How
super
amazing.
And it's small enough. It's not a huge conference where it's like, it's not an NRF style conference. It's not those big technology conferences. It's 240 people in a room. It's very intimate. There will be Q&As. There'll be interaction. And you'll be able to pick our brains and just really learn a lot. So just bring your digital notepad, whatever you need to do to take I'm going to be like scribbling. I know I am. I'm always like in the back of the room scribbling when I'm hearing
paper and pen. I'm still old school. I tell you, I'm a nightmare when it comes to technology, as we all know. But no, I think you're right. What a wonderful place to meet people and get your next best ideas. I just think it's going to be amazing, and can't wait to meet everybody.
Yeah. All right. So that wraps up our live. We've been coming up on time. So thank you, Audra, all the way from the UK, for joining, and thanks for signing up and saying yes to this.
Thank you for inviting us to collaborate. This is amazing.
Yeah. So with that, I'll chat to you soon. I know I will, because we have so much to do to get ready for the Retail ConX Summit in September. But for everybody else watching, we'll post the link for the summit underneath this. And if you find this in the feed, I always say, share it. Just hit the share button. It doesn't hurt anybody, cost anybody anything to hit the share button. And what you'll be doing is maybe helping somebody that is looking for this support in their business by finding it on your feed. So definitely tag somebody, share. We really appreciate that. And sign up. We'll see you in New York.
I knew the cat would make an appearance.
Love it.
Finally, she did.
All right. Bye for now.
Bye for now.